the voice of Speed Racer. How cool is that? It was really a neat moment for me. Yeah.
Oh, what do you want me to just ask me?
There are still some empty seats in here. Some of you guys, come on up here and have some of these empty seats. Raise your hand if there's a seat by you. 10? Yeah, they just want to make sure that the fire department people don't come in and shut us down. And they will too, he says. So, thank you. Yes, sir, all the way on the end. Oh, you've got some seats over there, okay. Yeah, we want to stay clear of the, oh, look who's here!
Hi, Ken!
Get up here, man, I got a seat for you. Come on up here.
Ken Castle, this is your life!
Do you remember this voice from your past?
I was Ken's teacher in 3rd grade.
Michelle, Ken. Anyway, so he's probably like, oh my gosh, why is he dressed in a costume? He hasn't changed in 40 years. It's just because of Leonard Nimoy, man. What can I do? He dragged me in. Yes, all the way in the back. Oh, with the red coat, you look so cute. You look like somebody. I can't quite place it. I love you guys for asking, but you know I can't do it. Can't do it. I promised I was not going to do that anymore. I did that like how many years ago? 2 years? 3?
2 years at Sabotan.
20 years? It seems like 20
seems like an eternity.
And it kind of took on a life of its own. Not a good life. Kind of a stalker life. And so I promised myself like 2 years ago I was not going to say that line anymore. It must die. So while I love you madly, I promised myself I wasn't going to do it. But if you have another question, do you have another question? Okay, if you think of one, let me know. Yes, sir. Oh wait, did you think of one? Oh, my last name is Italian. Italiano. Oh my gosh, yes.
Italy.
What?
Italian boy!
Yes! There's that cool ambient echo. Yes! Nice. Yes, do you know that song? There's a song on one of my CDs, you guys. I wrote, Ken will tell you, when I was in college, I was always writing like love songs and stuff, right? And all these writing ballads and stuff. And so I thought, you know what, I need to write something that's fun, up-tempo, lighthearted. So I decided I was going to write a story song based on how my grandma Mignogna, straight off the boat, straight from Napoli, used to tell me when I was a little boy how proud I should be to be Italian. She would always brag on the Italian people, and I should be so proud. And so I wrote this song, but in addition to writing the song, I took a cassette deck to my grandma Mignogna's house when she was 80 years old, and I recorded her talking to me like I was a little boy again. And then I put snippets of her talking to me in the song.
Aww.
So, and you know what's really cool, you guys? At one point she says, someday, you know, after Grandma's dead and gone, you can play the song for people who's come after me. And she passed away a few years ago, so now it's like, you know, now when I hear her saying that on the song, it's just so special because, you know, back when she said that, I mean, it was so many years ago, and now she's in heaven looking down on us. Yes, Winry. You know, I used to say, which character have I enjoyed the most, she said. You know what, it's funny, I used to say, oh, I could never pick one. There's just so many, I love them all, they're like my children. I used to say that, but I don't say that anymore because, you know what did it? You know what pushed me over the edge? Brotherhood. After I finished Brotherhood, I was like, oh, why fight it? Ed is, I mean, there are not many Edward Elrics in anime, period. I mean, just, I love the character. He's so well written, and it's so, he's such a tragic character, really, you know? I mean, he's been through so much, and he's funny, but he's hurt, and he's bitter, but he's optimistic, and he's loyal and loves his brother and everything. So after I finished Brotherhood, I'm like, okay, I can't fight it anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Ed's probably my favorite of all the characters I've played. But right after Ed, I mean right after Ed, is Tamaki from Orange. Oh yeah. Get your giant Usa-chan up in here. Look, dueling bunnies. Alrighty. Hey, you guys, what time is it? We have 15 minutes left? No, we don't.
20 minutes, Vic. 20.
Good Lord. Okay, you know what? We have to watch something then, right? I promised you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what I want to do, though. Man, I wish we could get that. Would you try to move this table back a little bit to make the screen look larger? And let me tell you why you're doing that. Let me tell you guys what I want to show you. For those of you that are here yesterday, you know about this. But if you weren't here, shortly after we started recording FullMetal Alchemist, years ago, I was at a convention, and a fan came up to me and said, hey, can I get a picture of you wearing my red coat? And I had never cosplayed any characters that I'd done, and I thought, wow, that would be fun, right? So I put this coat on, you know, and being the dork that I am, I'm like, psh. And everyone started taking pictures, and for like the whole weekend, everyone was coming up to me going, oh my gosh, you should cosplay as Ed. You should cosplay as Ed. I was like, no, I shouldn't. Because Ed is short, and I am not. Ed is young, and I am not. And but I went home from that convention thinking to myself, what would be a plausible story whereby a grown man could start turning into an anime character? So I made up this little story. And then I started thinking, hey, you know what? No one's ever really done this. None of the voice actors I know were ever stupid enough to, but I am. And so so then I started thinking, I'm going to ask some of the other voice actors that are in the show if they would like to come and be a part of this little thing. And so my degree is like in film and television production. So I had all the equipment that I needed, and I knew how to do it. So I got a whole bunch of people together on one weekend in Houston, Texas. And we shot something called FullMetal Fantasy. I was thinking yesterday when I asked you guys if you'd seen it, how many of you have seen it?
Yep.
Right, not many. And I was thinking, I thought I was showing it at Comicon when I was here 4 years ago. But I think that was that was right at the point that they told me not to show it anymore. I showed it for a year after I finished it, and it started becoming very popular, and Funimation basically said, hey, we're a little bit worried that the Japanese who actually own FullMetal Alchemist would be angry that we've made this live action thing. And I'm like, how could they be angry? It's a fan film. I mean, it's just a labor of love. Nobody's making any money off of it. And they're like, yeah, but Vic, you're the main character. And that would be like Mark Hamill making a Star Wars fan film. You can't do that. You know, you're associated with Funimation and you can't do it. And so I'm like, okay. And so they said, we don't want you to show it. So I stopped showing it. And then, just about a year and a half ago, Funimation told me that if I would let them know when I intended to show it, I could start showing it again. So I'm going to show it to you today.
Yeah!
Now, do we have somebody on the lights?
Don't forget about the camera.
Oh, thank you. Oh, God, I love you. You guys, this is a very, very special thing to me. I only show it at conventions. So I want you to do me a favor, please. Do not videotape this and put it on the internet. Promise me, please.
I promise.
I'm asking you, because I love you guys, and I know you love me and respect me, and I respect you guys. So I'm just asking you on your word. I want people to see it the way you're getting to see it. with a group of friends and fellow fans on a nice screen with some good sound, not, you know, like handheld behind some guy's head 20 feet away. And so, do me a favor, don't tape it, okay? Please don't. All right, and this is probably going to finish us up. So I'll get up right after this is done and tell you how much I love you and say thank you for being here. But if you will click on Full Metal Fantasy.